Are you recording on your computer?
No, but I can.
Oh, no, it looks like it's automatically recording. I'm just going to
Oh.
pause it. There we go. All right, I think that we are ready to get started. So welcome everybody to the Get Involved in Student Organizations webinar. My name is Lauren Wilson. I am the Associate Director of the Office of Student Development. I'll let Jeff introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Jeff Wakeman, the Director of Student Development. Excuse me if I'm looking down. I'm just checking to make sure the Facebook is rolling.
All right. And so we have some student leaders here with us today, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves in just a few minutes when it's time for our student leader panel, where we encourage you to ask any questions that you have to learn about the involvement experiences here at Stockton. That goes for anyone kind of tuning in through Facebook Live as well and watching the webinar through Facebook. We're kind of monitoring both the chat on Zoom and our Facebook Live feed to make sure that we can get all of your questions answered today. So I wanted to start, you may have seen this image before, the statement, involvement begins here. We always say that involvement begins on Osprey Hub, and this year it couldn't be more true. This fall is a little bit different than anything that we've experienced in the past, but I can assure you that our student organizations, fraternities, sororities, and other ways to get involved on campus are just as alive and active as they were last fall. The only difference is that your first point of contact most likely will be through Osprey Hub. Osprey Hub is our involvement platform for student organizations and fraternities and sororities, and it really is the way that you can get connected to all of the different involvement experiences here at Stockton. So why get involved with a student organization? I wanted to highlight just a few of the benefits that I'm sure our student leaders will expand upon in just a little bit. But some of the benefits to getting involved with organizations on campus, making friends and connecting with each other, whether you are a first-year student or you are starting your second or third or fourth year here at Stockton, it's a great way to meet new people. It's a great way to connect with other students who have similar interests, whether that's your major or something that you like to do for fun. Connecting with other people who have similar spiritual, political beliefs, cultural backgrounds as you. There are so many different organizations here at Stockton that you can truly find your fit no matter what your interests are. Getting involved is a great way to strengthen your leadership skills, learn how to work together in a team environment to accomplish a similar goal. You gain practical experience. So when you're in your classes, you learn all of the theories and the foundational knowledge and things like that. But when you get involved with a student organization, you can really put those skills into practice and get a lot of experience that is so transferable into whatever it is that's next. When you think about a student organization, they are in charge of planning events, planning fundraisers, doing community service, managing a budget, putting together advertising and PR and marketing for each organization. So these are all skills that can easily transfer into whatever organization or job internship is next for you. Getting involved actually helps to enhance your time management skills. And I know that sounds kind of silly because it's something else that's added to your plate, but student leaders seem to find a way to balance it all. Now, we don't want to encourage you to get involved with too many organizations at once, because then that will kind of just throw off that balance. But I would say if you are new to getting involved, maybe find organizations that you really want to connect with. Maybe one of them is connected with your major and one of them is something that you like to do for fun. So this way you're building your professional network, you're meeting with people who have, a similar career path as you, but then you're also doing something for fun, which is so important this year, to be able to find that balance and find whatever it is that brings you a little bit of just relaxation, sanity, whatever it is that helps you kind of stay balanced in this this wild year.
How about human contact, Lauren?
Human contact.
Human contact, is that something we're maybe missing?
That's a good one too. Getting involved also increases your leadership opportunities. So that could mean a few different things. In every organization, there's a president, a vice president, a secretary, a treasurer. Some even have different committees and chair people and lots of other leadership opportunities to get involved within that organization. But also, in addition to getting involved and getting a leadership position within an organization, there's also so many conferences that are available to student leaders. So if you're involved with, let's say, the Forensic Psychology Club, that organization travels to a conference every year that's typically out in California, but you know, this happens with lots of other organizations. There's conferences that kind of match up with the goals and the mission of your organization, and a handful of students from that organization can apply to go to conferences. We also have opportunities and different leadership workshops that our student leaders are usually the first ones to find out about it. So the more that you're involved, the more leadership opportunities kind of come across your path that you can take advantage of during your time at Stockton. Most of them are free. Some of them come with a small fee, but most of them are free opportunities for students. So it's a great opportunity to take advantage of. Many of our student organizations are also involved with the community. So while you're getting involved, you can also give back to the community. And then last but not least, have fun. Like Jeff mentioned, this is a great way to kind of bring a little bit more human interaction back into your life after 6 months of kind of being cooped up and quarantined. And so we do want you to have fun. We know that this year is going to be a little bit different than involvement experiences in the past, but this is a temporary thing. This is not a forever thing. This year or this semester might feel a little bit different, but we do anticipate being able to add more in-person events as the year goes on. Ideally, we're keeping our fingers crossed. But organizations are still kind of alive and active and functioning. We are still doing events on campus, though they might be you know, restricted to a certain capacity and certain guidelines, but we are still doing a small handful of in-person events in addition to a lot of different opportunities that we're offering through a virtual experience. All right, so going back to Osprey Hub, how do you find out about all of these opportunities on campus? So if you go to stockton.edu/Osprey Hub and log in with your Stockton credentials, you will come to a screen that looks very similar to what I have up on my screen. You can utilize this search bar up top and just type in your interest, you know, whether it's your intended major or something that you're interested in, and any organizations or upcoming events that match with that keyword will appear. You can explore different organizations. You can click the Join Now button in order to kind of send an alert to the executive board that you would like to be a part of that organization. Or if there's an event that you're finding on there that you really want to attend, you can RSVP and add that to your personal calendar right through Osprey Hub. Once you're a member of clubs, this is an easy way to kind of navigate and make sure that you can click on all of your organizations that you're a part of to easily access the different communication, the upcoming events, the news articles, all those different features. And then another thing that you can access through Osprey Hub is Osprey Advantage, and that is your co-curricular record that tracks all of your out of the classroom experiences during your time at Stockton. So let's take a closer look at Osprey Advantage really quickly. When you log into Osprey Hub, if you click your profile picture that is in the top right corner and go down to Osprey Advantage, you will be able to access your Osprey Advantage record. Everyone has them. If you've attended some events already or some of our trainings or other things that have happened at Stockton, there's a good chance that you may already have an Osprey Advantage record and don't even know it. Anytime that you join an organization, that your name appears on a roster for a different organization on campus, that will be tracked. So you'll see that you are a member of the Stockton entertainment team from fall 2019 to fall 2020. Any educational, leadership, or service events that you attend will appear under the events category. Some of the other things are things that we have information for. So if we have the data, we will go ahead and load it, but you can also add your own experiences as well. So if you're involved with, if you volunteer on a weekly basis at the local Humane Society, you can go and add that into your off-campus involvement section so that this way that appears and it's a reminder for you of all the things that you did during your time at Stockton. This comes in handy when it's time for applying for internships, jobs, grad school. It's not something that I would recommend just printing out and handing in with your application, but it is a great tool to remind you of all the different things that you did during your time at Stockton that kind of give you an edge. all of the educational and leadership events that you attended, all of the organizations that you contributed to, all of the awards and honors that you had, the conferences that you attended. All of this stuff will give you the edge in your job search. So
Yeah,
we definitely encourage you to, just to keep an eye on your Osprey Advantage and know that the more that you're involved, the more robust this document will be.
I was going to say it's going to be really valuable when you're writing your resume or your cover letter in your junior year or your sophomore year, because the hardest thing people do is remembering everything that they've done or what's in value and what's important. So take this to the career services office and say, hey, here's all the stuff. Help me write my resume.
Yep. All right. As I'm going through, if there are questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll make sure to address them as we go through. So Osprey Hub is pretty mobile friendly. It works really well on your phone. It adapts. It's easy to navigate, but there's also an app called Quark that goes right along with Osprey Hub. So if you are looking for events on campus, it's a great app to utilize. If you travel towards another campus, Quark will actually adapt and pull up the events from that campus as well. If you're close to Stockton, it will show with Stockton events. If you're logged in, you'll be able to see everything. If you go to another school that utilizes the same type of platform that we have, it'll automatically pick up the events that are close to their campus as well, as long as they're public events and not limited to only students from that particular campus. So I do want to highlight a few quick events before we jump into our student leader panel, which is really the I guess the meat and potatoes of this program. Our Get Involved Fair is going to be virtual this year, just like many other of our major events. It's going to be virtual. This is going to be an event that's live on Osprey Hub, so it starts tomorrow. It's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week. And the way to access that is by logging into Osprey Hub and clicking the link for the virtual Get Involved Fair. When you're there, I want to give you a preview of what it will look like. You will see a brief description up top with a help desk link. That's where the student development team will kind of be there, ready to help you navigate, ready to help answer any questions that you still have about getting involved and connected here at Stockton. So if at any point tomorrow or the next 3 days you have questions, feel free to go on and just click Visit Help Desk, and we'll be there ready to answer all of your questions. You can search based, again, on whatever keywords you choose. If you want to put in your intended major, your interests, or if you just want to scroll through and see which organizations are here, or select the category and you can kind of filter it down by category, you'll see all the organizations that are participating in the fair. From there, when you see an organization that you're interested in, you can click the link and that will bring you to the to that organization's Osprey Hub page, or you can click Meet Online or request to join. So if it's an organization that you're like, yes, I cannot wait to join the psychology club, go ahead and hit request to join. If you have some questions and you want to meet some of the student leaders that are involved with that organization, click on the Meet Online and that will bring you to a live video chat with members of that organization. So here's another example of some organizations that are participating in the fair. Many of them have the link to a live video chat, but there are some who weren't able to participate in the live chat. So as you can see, kind of cutting off on my screen right now, but men's volleyball, I believe it just says contact. Is that true? I have like the bar going right across my screen where that word is. But if they don't have a video link and the ability to meet online, you can still reach out and ask them whatever questions you have and they will get back to you. Fraternities and sororities, there is going to be a separate program tomorrow at 3 o'clock that really highlights all of our fraternities and sororities and ways to get involved. But I would be remiss if I did not include them in our presentation. We have, I believe, 27 active fraternities and sororities on our campus, and they do a ton of community service and are, a very positive aspect of Stockton. So I definitely encourage you to check them out. There's actually a few events happening this week that highlight our many fraternities and sororities on campus.
And just real quick, I'm going to say if there are any new students here, there are GPA requirements and credit requirements. If you're a transfer student, please come talk to us, because if you meet the requirements from your former institution, we will take that into account. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, so Jeff and Sam, if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about Student Senate.
Sure, go ahead, Sam. You want to start it?
Yeah, I'll go right ahead. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. So my name is Samuel Payams. I'm currently the public relations chairperson, and as it says on the slide, Student Senate is responsible for representing and being the voice of the student body. Senate is responsible for reviewing requests for allocation of funds from the Student Activity Fee Fund. So we have our elections coming up in 2 weeks, October 6th through 8th, and this will be open for freshman students and transfer students. We also have interest meetings this week. Most of them will be right after the Get Involved Fair. And I don't know if Jeff, you would like to say anything else about that.
Yeah, I just want to say that if you've been involved in your student government at your high school or at another institution, you might be interested in joining Student Senate if you've never been involved because you didn't really understand what they do. I'll say that student governance, Student Senate at a university has a lot more power and a lot more funding because they control just a couple of $100,000 of your fees. So all the clubs and organizations that get funding, Lauren was already mentioning, this is about 120 funded of the close to 200 organizations. That all comes from your fees. So that is given to Student Senate, and Student Senate decides, which club gets how much and which events can happen and which events can't. So if you want to be involved, please, Sam, what's the best way? Email you to find out?
You can email us. You can follow our Instagram and DM us through there, or email student.senate@stockton.edu.
And as always, just watch on the Osprey Hub for their events.
Well, I'm going to go to the next slide, which talks about a few of them.
There you go.
So we have interest meetings this week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They will be through Zoom, and you should get the link either on your student emails. They're also on our Instagram bio. They should be on Osprey Hub. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can reach out.
Great, thank you, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so last, I want to just kind of highlight what this week will look like before we jump into our student leader panel. So today you're already joining us. Thank you so much. Tomorrow we'll kick off our virtual Get Involved Fair. And we also will have another live webinar tomorrow at 3 o'clock that highlights our fraternities and sororities. In addition, we're also going to have a program geared towards our first generation college students. And that is at 4:30 with our first Ospreys Club. And we have one of the founding members of our first Ospreys Club with us today. And you will be able to meet her very soon. On Wednesday, again, the involvement fair continues. And then the involvement piece that we're covering on Wednesday for our webinar is recreational sports and activities. So if you're interested in club sports, intramurals, learning a little bit more about how to get involved with those, sporty clubs on campus, I would definitely encourage you to log in on Wednesday to learn a little bit more about those opportunities. On Thursday, again, involvement fair continues. We are going to be focusing our webinar that day on civic engagement and community service. And so we have some of our community partners from local organizations joining us that day to talk about how you or your organization can get involved with some community service projects on campus and also in our local community as well. That night we have Meet the Greeks. So again, another great time to log on to Osprey Hub and interact with all of our fraternities and sororities and make sure that you're asking questions and interacting with our student leaders and able to get all of your questions answered. So by Friday, our hope is that you have found your fit and found something that you'd like to get involved with. But we understand that there are people out there who have interests that might not match up exactly with our organizations that already exist on campus. And that's okay. We are always willing to start new organizations on campus. And every semester, we probably get anywhere between like 10 and 15 new organizations that start. And so Jeff is going to be leading a webinar on Friday that talks about how to start a new organization on campus. And it'll walk you through the steps, how to find an advisor, how to recruit new members, especially in our digital environment. It makes things a little bit more challenging, but not impossible. There are still ways to recruit new members. And so we'll be really outlining the steps of how to start a new organization on campus. And that's something that even as a first-year student you can do, and that first-year students have done in the past. So don't feel intimidated that you're new to Stockton and you're not sure if you can start your own organization, because you definitely can.
I always say it's a lot easier to start an organization than it is to maintain a good organization. So come on out to that if you don't find your fit.
Great. And then the last event that I want to quickly highlight, even though it still seems like months away, it's really not. University Weekend is Stockton's homecoming and family weekend, kind of usually mashed up into one big celebration. Typically, we love the opportunity to invite family members and alumni back to campus to celebrate with us. But this year we are doing it a little bit differently, as we're doing everything a little bit differently. And we're packaging it up and delivering it to go. And so we are still going to have a small handful of in-person events happening during University Weekend, but the majority of the events will be virtual. Some of them will be live virtual events. Others will be kind of available to kind of watch and engage with on your own time. But we are working on the final details for our schedule and hope to have that up on our website by next week. So stay tuned and continue to check back at stockton.edu/university weekend for more information about that. All right, so now we really wanted to turn this program over to our student leaders. And so I'm going to stop sharing and ask all of our panelists to please turn their videos on. Here they come. And so I would love for all of our panelists to introduce themselves. I'm actually going to kind of call on the panelists as they're appearing on my screen, which might actually be a slightly different order than I had mentioned to you all before, just so this way we're not all talking over each other. But if our student leaders can sort of introduce themselves, what year you're at Stockton, and what you're involved with. So Leah, I'm going to ask you to unmute and go first.
Hi everyone, my name is Leah Sadler. I am a psychology major with a minor in childhood studies, and my involvement on campus include I'm the co-founder and co-president of First Osprey Club, which is a club for first generation college students, and I'm also a talent here on campus as well.
Great. Mark.
Hello, I'm Mark Buller, and I'm involved in the American Fishery Society Student Senate. I'm on PR, and then I'm involved in wow, I'm going on a blank. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm involved in the Marine Technological Society, and then the Office of Student Development as well.
Great, thank you, Mark. Kiara.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Kiara. I'm a senior communication studies major, concentration in public relations, and dual minor in global studies and Spanish. On campus, I'm a resident assistant. I am also a talent. I work at the Office of Student Development, as well as the proud president of Los Latinos Unidos and a member of the Public Relations Society of America.
All right, Brianna.
Hi everyone, I'm currently in the master's program studying finance. I'm the president of Greek Council and I'm the treasurer of Tri Sigma.
Thank you. Chris.
Hi everybody, my name is Chris Malolo. I'm a junior communications, PR, and advertising student. I'm a student worker in the Office of Student Development. I write for the Argo, our student newspaper on campus. I am also a student senator, and I'm a part of Commuters on the Go, so I can answer all questions about commuting and being involved.
Wonderful. Sam.
Hello everyone, my name is Samuel Payams. I am a junior health science major. I am a student worker for the Office of Student Development. I am a student senator. I'm also in Sigma Beta Rho Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a resident assistant on campus, and I'm also part of the RA cohort of the House of Mosaic as a new Theme Living Communities on campus.
Thank you. Julie.
Hi everyone, my name is Julie. I'm a junior. I'm majoring in health science, and I'm currently a Bonner leader in the Office of Service Learning, a community service chair in the fraternity Delta Epsilon Mu, and I'm currently the excited president of Asian Student Alliance.
Wonderful. Thank you, Julie. Andy. Oh, Andy, you're muted. Uh-oh, Andy, I can't hear you.
It looks like he is unmuted. So we might, but we still can't hear you, Andy. I'm sorry. Do you want to jump ahead, Lauren, and see?
Yeah, Andy, why don't you introduce yourself in the chat, and we'll try to get your mic working.
And I'll send you some messages in the chat to see if you can fix it.
All right. So for anybody who is tuned in watching right now, if you have specific questions for our panelists, please feel free to write those questions in our chat, and we will ask them. But while we're waiting for those questions to come in, I would love to know kind of what is your favorite part about being involved here at Stockton? And I'll let anybody who wants to jump in go first.
I think my favorite part about being involved is connecting with new people and expanding my network. I know I've met people on campus that I'm going to be friends with, hopefully, even after I graduate. So I think, yeah, feeling connected and a sense of belonging. Yeah. I
would say, like, similar to what Leah said, I really enjoy the connections, both personal and like professional connections I'm making through everything I'm involved in. I also like staying busy and knowing that I'm involved in my community and helping out.
Wonderful.
I like being involved because it always gives us something to do, whether on campus or off campus, and like you're always learning something from someone new, like, and just it helps you become more well-rounded altogether.
Personally, I think getting involved is definitely an opportunity of self-growth and creating connections. It allows you to open so many doors for new opportunities and new experiences that I think, and I can definitely attest to, it wouldn't have happened if I didn't get involved. So definitely one of my favorite parts about being so involved.
Great. Anyone else want to add to that? All right, Mark, I know that you talked a little bit about how getting involved on campus kind of gives you something to do. How do you all manage your time as student leaders? I know I kind of threw that out there as one of the benefits, is that it helps with time management. I'm sure that there's been times where you have felt overwhelmed by the amount of things that you're involved with, but how do you as student leaders balance your time getting involved with different things on campus, but also maintaining the great GPAs that you have?
Definitely, you need to make some sort of planner or write some kinds of things, or write your assignments down, like in a document, in your notes, just some way that will work for you. But like, you definitely have to stay on top of things. Like, and in a semester where everything is online, it's so much more difficult because you're not seeing the professor face to face and everything. So a planner is definitely a college essential, or like some kind of way to track your assignments and like your events and everything that you're going to ensure that you don't miss out on anything.
I also, like, on my kind of side of things, I think understanding, not only what you're looking for when you're getting involved, but how far involved you want to be. Because I think because Stockton has so many clubs, it can get a little bit exciting, and we try to join so much at the same time, and then we realize, whoa, this is not going to work out. So I think understanding that you're a student, you have responsibilities that's outside of getting involved, but also understanding what is it that you truly want to achieve while getting involved, because I think sometimes we focus on the amount of things that we're involved in rather than the quality of what we're being involved in. And so definitely understanding that you don't have to be involved in like 7 clubs. You can just pick one and devote yourself to that club, and just you get what you put in. And so understanding that, going in with a purpose and using your resources to plan and kind of divide yourself and your time as a student, as a member of extracurriculars, and also as a person is super important when getting involved.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with what Kiara was saying on staying focused on your involvement. I think it's much more rewarding investing your time into a few specific things other than showing up to hundreds of meetings throughout the week and just signing in and saying you were there and involved. It's much cooler if you set your heart out for a couple different things and really get passionate about them, meet people, understand what you're talking about, understand what you're doing, and be part of the organization. And that kind of, I think, goes back to Lauren's question. That makes it easier to manage your time and everything because you're not wasting it. You're very specifically doing everything that you need to get done. And kind of like Mark said, I love a good to-do list and using your calendar and your phone. Like I said, I'm a commuter, so that all that stuff comes in handy, really. I pick the meetings I want to go to each day, different things I have to do, and I get to campus and I go through it and see how it's going to work out each day.
For myself, I would say to prioritize your time and what you are most interested in, and make sure you have like a time slot for your work, time slot for like an hour to do planning for this club, and then maybe another hour to attend this meeting. So like make sure you have that planned out. Also, sticky notes really work well. Like I have sticky notes on my laptop to plan what time I'm doing things and stuff like that. So organization is important. Although it's a cliche thing, I would say it's very important.
And real quick, something that I mentioned in the previous webinar is about finding like that balance between work and also still sticking to those things that you enjoy doing. Like if you enjoy going on hikes, if you enjoy going to the beach, if you like working out, like make sure you still find time to do all that so you're not feeling overwhelmed. Like make sure you're taking care of yourself as well.
I want to also add something. I saw something that said self-sabotage is always saying yes. So learning when to say no is so important because you don't have to say yes to everything. Just have those, like everyone said, have that balance. So you don't have to say yes to everything.
Absolutely. I think that's probably one of the hardest things for student leaders to do is to know when to say no and when to not get involved. I always say that even though my job is to promote involvement on campus, there's a time and place to get involved and there's a time and place to say no, and to know where that limit is and to really find that balance. And I think, was it Chris who had mentioned, it's about the quality of your experience, not how much can I get involved in, but how can I really make the most of my experience and get involved with, just pick and choose a few things to really focus on and get involved with, so that this way you are making the most of your experience. You're able to, really focus on things that will help you and focus on things or opportunities that you can really contribute and add, positive contribution to that. Welcome back, Andy.
I think
Is your mic
Andy's
working?
back.
All right.
Can you all hear me?
Yay!
Yes.
All right.
All right. So let's back up and we'll let Andy introduce himself.
Sorry about that. My name is Andy. I am a senior pre-physical therapy major. I'm involved in ASO, which I'm the president in, which is the African Student Organization, Health Science Club, fraternity and sorority-wise, the Alpha Epsilon Pi fraternity, which I'm the philanthropy in, and as well as RHA, the Residential Housing Association.
Great. Thank you, Andy. We're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Audible. All right. So I guess one of the next questions, can you all talk a little bit about what it was like being involved as a general member and kind of what it's like being a member of an organization versus having a student leadership position within that organization? What does that time commitment look like? And just in general, what was it like for you all to kind of starting an organization as a general member and kind of working your way up within your organization?
I can touch base on that. So I think I'll use Los Latinos Unidos as an example because I did start off as a general member and held practically every single position they have to offer, except treasurer throughout my time there. But essentially, one of the things to remember is that when you're coming in as a member, as a club, we're not expecting you to like commit right away to joining this club. It's very flexible, and the good thing about it is that almost basically every club is open for you to come in, whether it be one time, whether it be multiple times in the semester, whether you can only go to activities and not to general meetings. I think we're very welcoming in that sense. As a member of the e-board, I think the main difference is the commitment that you make. So when you join a club and become a member of an e-board, you're making a commitment and knowing that, you know, time of your work, time of your week is going to go within this organization. Now, what you do with that commitment and what you do with whatever position you uphold is up to you and up to your organization. But definitely the biggest difference would be, you know, as a club member, you get to kind of enjoy what we provide, you know, any activities, any food, any giveaways. But once you cross over to that e-board section, you're very much so on like behind the scenes of planning, of creating, and of basically helping build and better the club. You kind of get a vision, you get to work with your vision and create your club in a way that, you know, makes you proud, and then it's a reflection of the work that you want to do. So I think commitment is definitely much more, I would say, you know, on a regular club, we usually meet about an hour a week if you're a general member, or every 2 weeks, depending the club. But once you become an e-board, e-board member, I feel like that definitely probably like quadruples the amount of time you spent, because so much planning goes into it, so many behind the scenes meetings, but it's all very fulfilling and it's all with a purpose. So I don't want to say that it's like it takes over your life, because definitely, again, we go back to balance and the importance of balancing things, but it's definitely a commitment that you have to work your way up in. So I would say that's the biggest difference.
Great. Anybody else want to add to that?
I could give a quick example relating to Student Center right now. Like last year, I was just a member of the Public Relations Committee, so I was very used to just showing up to meetings, helping wherever I was needed. And then this year, I'm like, oh, what's happening with the meetings? Like, I wonder when they're gonna be. It's because I was used to the chairperson setting those meetings up, and then I realized, oh, I'm the chairperson this semester, so I'm the one that's been making the meetings. And yeah, it's more responsibility, but also, like Kiara said, it's just more fulfilling.
I'd like to really quick mention, I know I put it in the chat, but if any of the attendees have questions for the panelists, they can use the chat feature and we will read it out to them. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for the reminder, Jeff.
I'll jump in on the question for Greek life. So just like as a normal member, you're showing up, you're participating, you have weekly events, you have the meetings that you have to go to every week. Some organizations have like chair positions where you plan your fundraisers and whatnot. So it's a little bit more involved. And then when you get to the e-board, you don't have to be on the e-board, but that's your choice. You are the leader of the chapter. You are the face of the chapter for that term. So everyone's looking up to you. Everyone's looking at you for guidance. You attend a lot more meetings. You get to plan the meetings. A lot of the planning of the events is your idea. So if you don't think something worked in the past and you want to see it happen and make it work in the future or the next one, that's all up to you. I would say Greek life, you don't have to be involved as much, but getting involved definitely gives you more from your organization. So I would recommend being on the e-board or just planning an event in general.
For me, I could use like an analogy with this, like pretty much like the members is like an audience, and then mainly like the e-board is meaning like the actors in the play. So like you're pretty much creating the creative mindset for like your members to like enjoy. As you're like a member, you're pretty much like there, like attending the meetings. Not much is done, but like you're involved as well. As an e-board, you're pretty much like creating everything from scratch, using your creative mindset in a way. When the meetings are, if the meetings are canceled, like what do you have for today's agenda? You're pretty much more like speaking more, and it's more of like a public speaking setting.
For myself, I'm going to talk about the Asian Student Alliance. So I started out as a member when I was a freshman, so I was kind of shy and like quiet. But like over the semester, I joined again as a sophomore, and I was an e-board member as historian. And this year I'm currently as president. So like that jump of like character development is also there when you're going from member to e-board. And one of my favorite things about being e-board is that you get to like come up with some cool ideas to improve your club, especially for like this virtual environment, because I know we had struggles like trying to come up with new events, new ideas, meetings for everyone for our general meetings. So like the idea of how like trying to switch out of that traditional environment is like exciting, because we're like paving a new pathway for upcoming students and maybe for future clubs.
Yeah, the Asian Student Alliance has definitely embraced this crazy virtual world that we're all living in, and has really put forward some really innovative ideas and ways to connect with their members and continue to keep them involved and engaged. So kudos to ASA on that. One of the next questions I wanted to talk about and ask you all is, can you talk about how your involvement experience and your class experience kind of go hand in hand? What are some of the transferable skills that you have gained by being involved with your organization, and how do you think that you might be able to utilize them maybe in your first job? Chris, I think you unmuted first.
Yeah, so I like this question. I think it has a lot to do with personally networking skills. The ability to just be in a room of the next batch of new people that you've never met before, understand that something needs to be done. You either need to like do all your coursework, or you need to, be involved in the organization, and understanding that everybody has to work together, and you make the connections to the people sitting next to you, get their numbers so you can talk about coursework outside the class, similar to like work setting, I would guess. Just building a support team for yourself and making things the most comfortable so you could get everything accomplished throughout your job, your career, your internship, or whatever it may be. I really think it's the connections, I'd say.
Also, I'm in a couple of, when I was like saying my involvement, a few people came into my house, but the Marine Technological Society and the American Fisheries Society that I'm involved with are both like very relevant to my major, which is marine biology. And so like not only will that help me like get to know other people like serious about the field, but it'll also like give me many opportunities and like just learning about like things to do in my field, different aspects of my field. And like these are just like free clubs on campus, and like it just isn't, it's cool to me that like I'm able to get like that much experience like just from being part of like a free club. And like as far as like what Chris said, like the connections is definitely like a huge thing. I'm involved in some things that also aren't related to my major, and like I feel like no matter what, like I'm still getting things from them, whether I'm getting connections or like just learning better like how to communicate or like different things like that. But yeah.
If you don't mind, I want to follow up again. Mark reminded me of something. Thank you, Mark. So specifically, like within your field too, I know I'm a communications major, and a lot of the groups that I'm a part of within the communications program, all very overlapping, a lot of the same students, a lot of the same advisors and faculty. There's so many opportunities for like internships and even jobs that come out of our clubs and organizations. There's a very, I think Kiara could attest to this, it's like a very intense networking aspect to our major. And I've had like friends that are like fellow students of mine, juniors and sophomores, that have like paid internships or even like almost full-time jobs that lined up after college, just from what they have learned and the networks, people they have met within the clubs and activities for our major.
Leah, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I've always been a person before being a student leader. I could just do it myself. If somebody is not gonna do it, I'll just do it myself. But working with an e-board and being the president, I had to learn that it's okay to ask people to do what they're supposed to do and ask them to help out with what you need help with. So I think, yeah, learning that I can't do it all on my own and that it's best to work on a team. So even if you say, well, I'm going to be a business owner one day, you still have to work with people. You still have to work with other businesses, work with your employees. So yeah, working on a team is definitely a skill that I've developed.
So Andy, did you have something that you wanted to add? I'm not sure if he just accidentally unmuted. Andy, did you have something that you wanted to say?
Yeah, for
Okay.
me, I would like to say it's like time management and public speaking has become like two skills that like I've able to like gain from being a student leader. For time management, I usually suck at it. It's like my weakness. Like I don't know how to prioritize my time like properly, but being a student leader, I'm able to like create different like time slots that I need to get my work done. Like if this deadline is upcoming, I need to like put a little bit time and effort on one situation and then follow through with each time as it goes on. And then for public speaking, like I'm not like a kind of person to like stand in front of people and talk when I was like a freshman, but as the years passed by being a student leader, being the e-board and actually have to like get in front of everyone and actually like use my voice and like create like something in order like to talk to everyone about, I was able to like come out of my shell, not be shy anymore, and actually like talk like in front of everyone. Even in presentations, it's more so like I'm interested in being the first person to talk and like present.
I also want to add to that what Andy said. If Lauren would have asked me a few months ago to do something like this, I would have said, no, I'm okay. But I feel like being a student leader has helped me to like elevate my voice in a way and to be more confident in speaking in front of people. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Did anybody else have anything else to add to that?
I was just going to add that it's also helped me with communication a lot. I was always the shy person. I never used to talk in class. And now here I am leading the meetings, reaching out to people, phone calls with people that I don't see on campus, but like I have to do it because that's my role. It's helped me a lot in class. I'll talk now and everything. And then another thing is I was always working with people that were younger than me, being my bosses, just at like jobs at home. And I feel like that'll help me a lot now that I'm in charge of people that are older than me, because they have more life experiences, and just being able to be a leader will help and go a long way, no matter what kind of leadership position anyone holds.
Great, thank you all so much. I know that we are approaching the 1 hour mark, so I will just ask, I guess, 2 more questions. First, what can students expect from your organizations this year? I know that so many of us have kind of pivoted to exist and operate in the virtual world. What are some things that your organizations are doing that students get excited for? Kiara, I know that you have a few events coming up.
Ready.
Not to put you on the spot.
No, I am ready for this. So right now, Los Latinos.
Don't let out any of the secrets. All the good stuff is secret. Lots of surprises.
A lot of surprises happening this semester. We have a lot of new giveaways, but basically we're currently celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. So essentially the semester started and we started with a bang. We had our flag raising, which is a total success, and it was socially distanced, but you could still feel all the love and all the enjoyment of it. We have an entire month planned with different activities, collaborations. We have our new series that we're introducing for Hispanic Heritage Month called Culture Chat, and a couple of the organizations that we're going to be collaborating with are here. So we're super excited about that. And so we're going to have Zoom meetings, we're going to have in-person events, because we wanted to maintain that balance. And so, of course, our in-person events are going to be following all of the safety guidelines and protocols, but we wanted to be able to bring that to you. One of the things I would say, because, you know, without giving too much away, is that you should definitely follow, and I'm going to plug my club Instagram really quick, but follow LLU, Stockton_LLU on Instagram. All of our activities are open to every single Stockton community member. So no, you don't have to be Hispanic or Latino to come and join us. As long as you're ready and you're feeling to have a good time, we welcome you. Apart from that, you know, once a month is over, the celebration is not over. We're going to have our bi-weekly meetings, and hopefully, as things progress, spring usually brings really fun activities, really good food. And so we look.
And Kiara, I'll mention that I dropped into the chat the Hispanic Heritage Month webpage, so everyone can go there and see the entire calendar of events and see a little history and some of the other resources we have.
Thank you so much. Definitely check it out. And if you have any questions, feel free to message us on Instagram.
Great. Any other student leaders want to talk about some exciting things that Stockton students can expect from your organizations this year or this semester, this week?
I guess I'll go. It's hard to follow at the Kiara. So tomorrow we're having our first event for the semester for First Ospreys. It's called Can I Get a Jump Start? So basically it's like we're having a motivational speaker. She's an alumni of Stockton. She's gonna come share her story and just to motivate the first gen students that they can make it through college and make it to graduation. So yeah, it's just gonna be a jump start. And then we're also launching our virtual Zoom study room. So on Thursday nights every week we'll have our Zoom room open at 8 o'clock. We'll just play relaxing study music where you can come on and join us for that. And then we have some other events planned in the making, and we'll keep you posted. And you can also follow our Instagram page at Stockton First Ospreys on Instagram. So yeah, that's
Great. You should all drop these Instagram handles in the chat so everybody could follow. Any other plugs for organizations, upcoming events?
For Greek Life, we have Meet the Greeks this Thursday at 7 p.m. I encourage everyone to come out, see what they're interested in, talk to all the different organizations. For Greek Life in general, we're going to be doing a lot of different speakers online. We just did Welcome Week, the first week of school. This week is National Hazing Prevention Week, so we have a speaker tonight. A lot of speakers, a lot of Instagram interactive events and stuff like that. We don't really meet in person yet, so we'll get that figured out, but our Instagram is at Stockton Greek Council, and I will put that in the chat for everyone, but definitely join Meet the Greeks on Thursday at 7.
And then Julie, did you have something that you wanted to add as well?
Yes, so our e-board will be tabling this all 3 days for Get Involved there. So if you guys have any questions, you guys can come out, meet us, talk to us, ask us any questions you have. And we will be having our first GBM next week at 4:30 to 6, and it's going to be through Zoom. All of our meetings this year will be virtual, but we do have some social events coming up. We have craft night, we have a movie night, and maybe cooking shows. That's still in the planning process, but we also have other collaboration coming up with other clubs in Stockton and possibly with other schools from other Asian communities, other Asian organizations from other universities. So if you guys are interested in learning about the Asian experience, you guys can come out to that, but you also do not have to be Asian. You can have an interest in the Asian American experience community, all of that, and we're happy and we're welcome to meet you all.
All right, so I guess our last question, I know we have just a few more minutes left. What parting words do you have? What is one piece of advice that you would give to a Stockton student who is not yet involved on campus and looking to find their fit?
So I'll share first with that one. I think that the biggest piece of advice is just get involved. It's easier, maybe kind of easier said than done, but we all just shared a very positive experiences with it, and I hope that you take those to heart and go out and get involved. Even if you get involved in one thing, you meet this one new group of people, you discover your new interest or whatever it may be that you could take away positively, and then that could maybe lead to the next thing and the next thing. And I kind of think that that's a personal experience I'll share is I picked one thing to get involved with, and that led to many, many more. So hopefully everyone just enjoys what we had to say today, and I really, really suggest just get involved. It will totally change your experience here at Stockton.
Opportunities don't happen inside your comfort zone, so I encourage you to step out. Even if you have to go to that event by yourself, go by yourself. Go to whatever you need to do by yourself. You'll meet new people. If you don't have any friends, you'll definitely meet friends. So yeah, I just say step out your comfort zone, because nothing's going to happen in your comfort zone, so step out of it.
I 1000% agree with Leah. I was going to say the same exact thing. I started going to events by myself because I commuted, and it was the best thing to happen to me. I wouldn't be in Greek life if I didn't go. So step out of your comfort zone and get involved.
Same thing. I went to so many club like tabling by myself, and I was like so scared, but here I am. And my advice would be like if you see an opportunity that you like, I would suggest just go for it and see where it takes you. And maybe if you don't like it, that's okay too, but you won't regret not trying it, you know? And I mentioned this at our last webinar, but I was like, this is a good advice. But so the school year is like drastically different from your traditional college experience, but like I wouldn't let that take away your experience of being involved, because there's a lot of opportunities and there's so many like clubs being involved virtually, online, social media too. So
I was also gonna say don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, because you'll be surprised at what you learn about yourself. Like I can guarantee you, you're gonna learn something about yourself, and it's gonna be useful information. Also, the other thing I was gonna say, which I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
Stockton has like a lot of clubs and activities to offer, so like don't be shy to go to any one of them. Like they don't bite, everyone's friendly. Pretty much like whatever path you take is going to lead you to like a new journey and a new adventure and new things that you could learn from.
Okay, I remembered. So it was if you like, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, and if you exhaust all your options, remember that there's always the choice to start up your own activity, your own organization. So gather up some people and start up your own new thing, and it could be very successful.
Yeah, and if you need any help getting involved, or you're not sure, you don't have the confidence, or maybe you're confused, lost, you don't know what specifically to get involved with, Lauren talked about it before. There's Osprey Hub online, and if you find yourself on campus, you could visit the Office of Student Development. You might see a few of us there. We're more than happy to chat. We're all very involved people, and we get excited about involvement. So we'd love to talk. We might talk too much about it. We might give you too many options, but it would definitely be a start for you.
All right, well, thank you all so much for coming in today, and a huge thank you to our student leader panelists who were able to make time in their crazy September schedules to join us today and make sure that they're sharing all of the benefits and the great things about getting involved and why you should get involved. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, if you need help finding your fit on campus. But there truly is something for everybody on campus. We believe that firmly. And like I said, if you're not finding your fit, we will help you create it, and we'll help you get started with that new organization or get connected with a club that might also share the same ideas that you have. So don't be afraid. I love what Leah said, that opportunities don't happen within your comfort zone. So don't be afraid to step outside of your bubble and get involved this semester. I hope to see many of you at the Get Involved Fair tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And again, you can access the fair by logging on to Osprey Hub, stockton.edu/Osprey Hub. That's where you'll find all of the organizations. You'll be able to access the Get Involved Fair and all of the other ways to get involved on campus. So thank you all again, and I hope to see you all soon.